Where's the best place for content on the world of Ice and Fire?
Right over there. See where I am pointing with my dagger? I just found
Sporking News Podcast. With me, Sporking. Make sure you like and subscribe. Where's the best?
Not here. Not here. All crows are liars, says old Nan. And you know what? Whatever old Nan tells you, you better listen. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are back with a Spork of Ice and Fire, where we talk mostly a Song of Ice and Fire. Okay, we only have talk, but we are open to other fantasy genres and titles, like the up and coming Harry Potter series that'll be out, and other ones from Abercrombie and other people. Not Fitch though. Anywho, I am Scott. This is Sporky News. This is the probably the most important Spork themed content. What is it again, Grant? It is a Spork
utensil based
channel in the world. Number one. So thank you for that. Thank you guys for making me that. Tonight we have two of our regulars with us tonight. We got Mr. Grant Gregory. How are you, sir?
Doing good, mate. Thanks for having me here.
Good. And nice to see him back. It's been so long, and he only needs 25 more subs to get to 100. It's embarrassing that we have not gotten him there yet. I mean, I got my buddy who does Pokemon cards to 100 like in 3 hours. So I don't understand. So Mason, free folk of the fandom, one of the nicest guys out there. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
What's up, everybody? I'm doing pretty good. Glad to be here. Happy I actually have and stay the whole stream. So
that's nice. Good. Day off?
Oh yeah.
All right, buddy. All right. Well, let's do it. You're a crow though. Yeah, I don't know if I'm crow. You say that every week. I know every week about the 25 subs. Like, this is ridiculous, people. So what we're gonna do is a campaign. Try to finish it by the end of this. I want Mason to share his link in the chat. And I want everybody to take it. If you're an X person, I'm going to share it on X, retweet my tweet. Let's get them 20, another 10 maybe. I mean, I can't even guarantee that. Man, I used to be able to pull off 20 subs. I looked so cool back in the day. Well, thank you for demonetizing me, YouTube. Anyways, let's not get negative. So guys, we're going to be talking to start the difference and the similarities and the mythology of crows and ravens in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. Do you guys have any thoughts on crows or ravens in any form we have them in A Song of Ice and Fire?
Like, do you mean crows as in like the actual crows, or do you mean like the guys on the wall?
It could be any type of crow, but yeah, I mean, any type of crow.
Well, they definitely play a symbiotic relationship with wolves throughout that we've seen, and yeah, they're
crows or is it ravens? It might be both.
I think it's ravens, actually. Now I think about it.
Yeah. Well, you have Blood Raven, right?
Yeah.
And you have Bran, who's the wolf, Blood Raven, the raven. But many people believe he's the three-eyed crow, which I don't. But and George might have changed that after book one, but after the first couple books, but he was not the three-eyed crow. It might have changed though. But yeah, you're right. So crows or ravens, they're kind of intertwined with that. You're right. Sorry to interrupt you. Keep going, buddy, because I'm looking up something.
Yeah, like also I know that in the Song of Ice and Fire that ravens are, they're the ones who deliver the mail and the system and everything. I think it was stated in John chapter 6 or 7. The
Mhm.
ravens are the only birds that are strong enough to fly long distances through storms. That's the reason why they were chosen more, and they're bred to last longer.
Mhm. Yeah.
Where crows are more of a wild bird. I know they consider them less noble of a bird
Right.
in comparison. So, and I think that also goes to show with the naming of the crows, meaning the men on the wall, that they're less noble than the people that aren't sent up
Right.
there.
Right.
George likes to do his double meanings and comparisons with everything.
I like how you put that though, because I didn't think about that. Like when they first were created, they were the Night's Watch Brotherhood, and then down the line, you have the wildlings starting to call them the crows because they dressed all in black and they don't trust them. And they're not, like they're not elegant, they're not true knights, they're not good people, they're crows. So I never thought of it that way, but until you just said that.
And crows was the name that was initially given to them by the wildlings. They just happened to catch on.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. True. True.
So propaganda works.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the original, like before John's quote about there are 5 pups, each one for your house, the sigil of your house. I'm trying to find the description of what they write up on, because I believe there is a dire wolf dead with a stag
In
like
its side.
in its side, and there may have been a crow or raven around it. You know what I mean? So like I'm trying to find that quote. If anybody sees that, let me know. Maybe this is the one. No, because it says season 1. Forget that. If anybody sees the quote, let me know. Isn't there a house Ravenwood or something? I know we have Blackwood, but there are houses, I think is it Blackwood that has
Well,
their
there's
sigils?
Blackwood and there's Raven Tree.
Raven
But
Tree, yep.
yeah,
Yep.
I don't know if there's. Maybe if they merge together, they would get Ravenwood.
Also, like I believe, don't the Greyjoys have a raven in there, or is it maybe it's what's his name? His sigil. Not the Greyjoy sigil, but the Crow's Eye sigil when he becomes king.
Well, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look. We have a couple cool maps here. These, I don't think these are all. Yeah, here. Let me share this. And we'll get more into it. Right now, we're just kind of looking at, the little stuff here and there.
Essentially, with how crows and ravens are viewed within the thing, ravens are an animal of authority. Crows are ominous and more scavenger-like. It's the reason my old man doesn't like them.
Right.
Because she's nettles. So
Yeah, true. I think the Foresters is a one of them is a weirwood tree, and I see it here with the Foresters that has like a murder of crows or whatever it is in its branches. You can't really tell here. I probably have to go to like the wiki. You know what? Let me do that.
Which one are you looking at?
I'm going to look at the list of houses in their sigils, because there is
McKenny's House Florida Man.
House Florida Man. So you have the Aarons, but those are not what we're looking for. Dorn Blackmont, but that is like a vulture. Oh, ravens. Here we go. Riverlands Blackwood of Raven Tree. Blackwood of Raven Tree. So it's actually I screwed that. I thought Raven Tree and Blackwood were two families in my head. So that's theirs, and it's funny that it's a weirwood tree with ravens circling around it. It's really like in the story, and let's not confuse the show with the books because they change names. Like I think he's the three-eyed raven in the book or in the show, right? Because they didn't want people to get confused with crows and ravens, like we're dumb or something. But yeah. So a flock of ravens on scarlet surrounding a dead weirwood upon a black, whatever. But it's a dead weirwood. I think all weirwoods.
So what was that last word that you said?
Ashutushin. Yep. I don't have a brain injury, but I can't read.
You sure?
Yeah. Well, I have had a couple concussions. Let's see. I know he said he was going to do sigils for every house, but we're still not there yet. I know there's a couple more with ravens. Actually,
yeah, it's the Blackwood and the Brackens that are always at each other's throats.
Yeah. All right, so we got Raven Tree.
Hey, Sherry.
Jerry, how are you? And I think I saw Christy too, and listless receptionists, our girls. Okay, so you got
should say hello to the chat.
Yeah. Hi, chat. Give me 1 second. Corbray of Heart's Home. They have 3 black ravens in flight, holding 3 red hearts on white. Okay, I think that's the last one. Oh no. And then you have Westerlands, the Duggets. And they have a black raven on white, and part of it is bent a white unicorn on green. And then the last one is House of Horror of Orkmont, Iron Islands, Origin Riverlands. I don't know if they're Iron Islands Origins Riverlands. So they might have been in both. And they have ravens flying in one quadrant of theirs. All right, let's say hi to the chat because the chat is beautiful. And Gap has been here since the beginning. Gap After Dark. What is going on? And I've always meant to ask you, Gap, what's that last symbol in your? Is that
that's the seventh chevron? That's Earth in Stargate.
Oh, I never watched Stargate.
Wow.
Yeah, I never did. I'm not super dork. Sorry. My bad.
But that has all like the pyramid theories and everything. You love it.
No. I saw the movie Stargate. I've never watched the show Stargate. Was the show good?
Yeah, well, I mean, went for 10 seasons. It spun off 3 different.
All right. Okay. Yeah, you got a point. Maybe we should do a rewatch of this series or a first watch. Oh my God. Let's do that. Like every other freaking Tuesday. We'll do it on Rumble. What's up, Dega? What's up, Brian? Of course, Brian McCann, Dega. You guys always show up to support, and I really appreciate it. Kirsty Angel, morning all, Sporking, Mr. Grant Gregory, Mason, Brian, Dega, Gap. She's saying hi to everybody. Listless receptionist. Now, every time I see your name, I think of this new anime about this guild receptionist who doesn't want to lose her cush job, but she doesn't want to work overtime. So she had like one person destroys boss level creatures in the dungeon. It's pretty good. The lovely Sherry, of course, and Zach's always showing up to show support. Thank you, my friend. And who else? Anybody that I missed? Oh, Alpha Kenny 1. I'm starting to get what that name means. Alpha Kenny 1. Once a raven has learned a word, they never forget it, and they pick up more along the way. Now, do crows? Do crows? Are they able to?
No.
I will. Yeah, they're not. Okay, because it is a raven that Lord Moramon has, or is it a crow?
Yeah, it's a raven.
It is a raven. Okay, and that raven definitely is being usurped by Bran. What are you doing, Mason? Jump in anytime, brother.
Well said, buddy.
Yeah. I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
You are
So
muted.
basically, there's 10 houses that have either crows or ravens as their house sigil, not
Mhm.
including like Night's Watch because their sigil is just plain black. So,
Right,
but
it's just
yeah,
black.
it's just black.
Just
I don't know if you mentioned. Did you mention House Deading? They have a dead raven that's hanging upside down.
No. No, I did not. Where's that one? What is it again? House what?
House Deadings.
D with a D?
Yeah,
All right, let's see.
they were mentioned in Feast for Crows. New
Oh, there they
appendices of
are.
that.
It says it's unknown. That's why I didn't see it.
But it's mentioned. Oh, that's weird because it was mentioned in the Okay.
They don't want us to know they're crows.
Why? Well, it's a dead bird. So
Yeah.
So you got House Borel as well. Did you mention those?
Borel?
Yeah, Borel or Borel.
Bor with a B?
Yeah, BORRELL or any sort of variation of that.
Okay. Borel, right here. A white spider crab on a gray green, and then it just stops.
That's weird because I got it here on my notes from when Davos was talking about it in Dance of Dragons.
Mm-hmm. Freaking wiki, dude. Let's get off this thing. Mason is always busy. He's a busy guy. My name conjures. Yeah, Janine from Go. I like it. So yeah, so we do get a lot in the beginning of the books about crows, about ravens. We learn the difference in the books. Crows are more wild. Ravens are used to send messages between castles. They're trained at the Citadel. They have every great house and a lot of mostly anybody who has a holdfast has a rookery where the birds are kept and with a maester who takes care of them. So ravens are always treated upper class, like a better class of animal than crows are in this world. But
Except by Ramsay Bolton.
Yeah, Ramsay doesn't really care about much. That's very true. And he does. What does he do to the ravens again? Does he kill them all?
Yeah, he destroys that, and he also destroys the nursery.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sick bastard.
Yeah, breaks all the glass.
Right. Skin changers like crows.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's not Varamir. It's the one that's with the Wyling group. With John, the one that hates him.
Yeah.
I forget the guy's name. Sonny Frank. What is up?
No, I don't think it's Sonny.
No, Sonny Frank is not the character. No. He's in the same group with John and is it Egret and Egret, right? Dude, I haven't read the books in so long. Some names I'm forgetting. We have to do a reread. But yeah. God, now I gotta look them up.
I'm
damn
just
it.
getting the TV series confused as well now.
Yeah, Skin Changer.
What's going on, Mad? Jump on.
Yeah, jump on, Mad. Even if you don't know what we're talking about. Let's see. Clash of Kings. No, not Brand. No Brand. Okay, Great Ranging John. No, Orwell. That's him. Yeah, Free Folk, Ranger, Skin. Oh, it's an eagle. I thought it was a crow.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I don't know, wasn't he? Because isn't that the one that Melisandre goes into? And blows up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Melisandre claiming she was the eagle burst into flames during the attack on Castle Black that Melisandre said she claimed to be the responsible for that. She claims.
Yeah, which to me means that it was if someone was already walking into it, and then when someone else tries to walk into the same thing, it it kills the host.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe you think all birds look the same.
Yep.
Shame on you.
Oh, Rossus. Ah, Barap. What's Gucci, my ninjas? He totally stole that from me.
Well,
All
lucky
right.
you haven't stolen anything from him. I
No,
mean, being
never.
a YouTuber and everything.
I am the YouTuber. We all know that. I mean, it's since the beginning, and I've started before him. So, what are your feelings on the differences between crows and ravens in the story, Mason?
So it's kind of weird that George R. R. Martin says that they're kind of like more closely related. Like usually in like Lord of the Rings, crows are seen as like servants of evil.
Mhm.
Like in I think it's Fellowship, they're like flying overhead and they go and tell Saruman where the Fellowship is. And then in The Hobbit, there's a specially bred raven that they find at
Mhm.
at Erebor, and they like talk with him for a minute, and he flies off to the he goes and gets Thorin's cousin from wherever he's king of. I'm forgetting. It's Iron something.
Oh yeah,
And they're like, no, this raven is like a servant. He's like one of the best.
right.
And then George is kind of like, the difference is kind of like they're different occupations.
Right.
The crows are smaller, can't talk. They eat dead people, but the ravens are trained.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird that they're a little closer related than most other examples.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah.
And
It's
You-
almost like it's the difference between a wild dog and a domesticated dog, even though they are
Yeah.
different species.
that's a good way of putting it, man.
The
No,
way,
that's
yeah,
a really good way of putting it. Because like the crows are treated like, they're more of a wild nuisance, and ravens are treated like they are noble creatures that bring news, good and bad. But if
well,
you really look at the mythology of both animals in our world, ravens have as much of a dread, history, a dreadful history as do the crows, and positive in the same sense. He's still alive,
Yeah.
I think. Uh,
well, yeah. I mean,
um,
that's definitely one way of looking at it, and I think George hints at a lot of that as well.
mhm,
I just also think that ravens are considered a practical tool, where crows are considered more of a mythological thing. There's
mhm,
a lot of ambiguity and everything around the crow. Crows are more done with like magic and everything, and where ravens are considered, even though they are a wild, essentially animal, and they also say that they are still easily manipulated by man because obviously
right.
they're the ones that are training them. I think the world could exist without crows. I don't think that world could exist without ravens.
Mhm. I do like um I do like how in a wiki of Ice and Fire, so that's the official Song of Ice and Fire wiki. Crows are black carnivorous birds found in the known world. That's all they have about them. But ravens are a species of large black feathered birds native to Westeros. Crows are everywhere. Ravens are only in Westeros, are native. Westerosi ravens are similar to common ravens of Earth, only with better homing instincts. Like carrion crows, ravens often scavenge from the dead. Okay, so like they kind of make them seem like, oh yeah, they're nice, they're common. They also scavenge the dead, so they're like
Well, yeah,
any other crow.
Yeah.
They're like
they
crows.
are essentially like a carrion.
Yeah.
They're a messenger of death, and I think in the opening prologue we get that as well. When
Hmm.
the crows come in, they make the noise. They alert the others to the Night's Watch.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
In the
and
prologue,
even
you're talking.
in the prologue,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
Even in if you take examples of the real world, they are used for alerting and for flight patterns. The wolves will watch the crows and then go to where they're going.
Yeah,
So
they are
they'll alert them.
symbiotic. You're right.
Yeah, they will alert them if they've got anything going on, and afterwards the wolves leave them food to eat. so they can
Mhm.
scavenge afterwards. And they are very, very good protectors of the crows when
Mhm.
they're eating, because they don't have a lot of documented stuff. But wolves and birds do play, like pups will play with each other.
Right.
I've seen a few things where that works, and I kind of look at the same things the way that Bran, young wolf
Mhm.
is playing with the older crow.
Right.
The three-eyed raven or three-eyed crow, or whoever you deem him to be.
Right. Okay, so there in my heart, I still believe that he is not the three-eyed crow, Blood Raven. But let's say he is. Why would Blood Raven come to him as a vision of a crow and not the more noble raven, like a three-eyed raven? That's why I hated to have the Game of Thrones. Like I love the first season, the second season, but I hated how they switched him to the three-eyed raven because it confused the shit. Like because they thought we would be confused, but there's something about it being a crow, more wild, more, untamed, dangerous, not as noble as the raven he
Untrustworthy.
is. Yeah, untrustworthy, right. I mean, old Nan tells us all crows are liars. So right there she's telling us crows as the animal, crows as some spiritual mythical thing, and then the Night's Watch. Because I don't think they set John up. Okay, Benjen set John up to want to become part of the Night's Watch. He could have easily served Bran at his holdfast if everything worked out normally. Where Rob took over Winterfell after Ned passed away. Bran and Rickon get their own holdfast, maybe an offshoot of their house, and he could have worked for one of them as a man at arms or whatever. But he tricks him into joining the Night's Watch. If that first in that
Well,
in that
literally, the only one that was honest with him by the time he got to the wall was Tyrion.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Um and it's weird because you reread that John chapter where they're in the great hall at Winterfell for the feast and really read what he is saying to John. He's kind of like he's saying you're a man, but you're a boy, you can't handle it. And then he like, I don't know. It's almost like he sets him up for it.
He
It's a
gaslights him into going.
mhm. What's that? I'm sorry, I
He
missed
gas
that last.
he gaslights him into going,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He definitely does. Um, let's see. I'm trying to find something too. I want to see if the dire wolves.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a class thing with the ravens and that as well within humans.
What's that?
Having the ability to have a raven is definitely a class thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely. Oh god, yeah. Having a rookery, having a maester that can read. First of all, that's another thing. Ravens bring messages. I kind of consider if the Night's Watch are crows, the maesters are ravens, and they look all noble, but they lie. They're whispering in the ear. They could read off this sheet of paper to most lords who most of them can't read. So whatever they're getting is from a maester.
Well, I
If
mean
that
that was deeply suggested with the whole line of the Baratheons, because
Mhm.
none of their lords learnt to read until Robert,
Yeah,
or was it Robert's father? Yeah.
yeah. So real quick, I don't want to change the topic, but I'm going to read when they first find the direwolf pups. By then, John, Jory, and Theon Greyjoy had all dismounted as well. What in the seven hells is it? Greyjoy was saying. A wolf, Rob told him. A freak, Greyjoy said. Look at the size of it. Right there, you should know you shouldn't trust that guy. Um, Bran's heart was thumping in his chest as he pushed through a waist-high drift to his brother's side. Half buried in blood-stained snow, a huge dark shape slumped in death. Ice had formed in its shaggy gray fur, and the faint smell of corruption clung to it like a woman's perfume. Bran glimpsed blind eyes crawling with maggots, a wide mouth full of yellow teeth, but it was the size of it that made him gasp. It was bigger than his pony, twice the size of the largest hound in his father's kennel. It's no freak, John said calmly. That's a direwolf. They grow larger than the other kind. Greyjoy said, there's not been a direwolf sighting south of the wall in 200 years. I see one now, John replies. Bran tore his eyes away from the monster. That was when he noticed the bundle in Rob's arms, crying delight, move Crow, the puppies, blah, blah, blah. See, I swear there was something.
I thought there was a noise or something that distracted him.
Yeah, the rustling. Yeah. Go on, Rob. Told you can touch him. Bran gave the pup a quick, nervous stroke. Then John turned and said, here you go. His half brother put a pup in his arm. There are 5 of them. Bran sat down. Blah, blah, blah. Direwolves loose in the realm after so many years, muttered Hullen, the master of horse. I like it not. It is a sign, Jory said. Father frowned. This is only a dead animal.
See, like with the whole pups and everything, and they say even one for his bastard. If
Yeah.
it was supposed to be some sort of symbolic sign or everything, doesn't that kind of prove that he is Ned's?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's all Ned's kids,
Yeah.
kind of weird. Kind of weird that his nephew
Hugh would also get one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why not one for the ward? You know.
Yep. His father knelt and groped under the beast's head with his hand. He gave a yank and held up for all to see a foot of shattered antlers. Yeah, that would be an uneasy thing to see when the king's about to come and visit you, and your sigil that hasn't been around for 200 years got killed by his sigil. That sucks.
Almost like it's foreshadowing.
Yeah, maybe. Born with the dead. Worse luck. No matter. They're dead soon enough. Greyjoy, again, the sooner the better. Theon Greyjoy agreed. He drew his sword. Give me the beast here, Bran. Like, never trust that Greyjoy. I swear there was crows involved. Let me see if I could start it from here and find a crow. Sorry, everybody. You know how we are on this show. We kind of go as we see fit.
So yeah, I know Ned's sister is a Stark, so John gets one. But like, does that mean that if out on that trip, Ned had all of his nephews and nieces out there, they would have all got one as well? It made a distinct point about saying there's one for each of them, and the runt, the one that was basically a half direwolf was for the half son.
Yeah, it's weird. It is weird that and first of all, it's you got the 5 pups, 2 girls, 3 boys they first find. Perfect fit for Ned's children. And then you get the John hears the leaves rustle, right? No one else, Ghost doesn't speak. Ghost doesn't make any sounds. And it's kind of weird that he finds that dire wolf. It's made for you to think, okay, he is one of Ned's kids. You have 5 true-born children, John said. 3 sons, 2 daughters. The dire wolf is the sigil of your house. His face changed. He had included the girls, included even Rick on the baby, but not the bastard who bore the surname Snow, the name that custom decreed be given to all those in the north unlucky enough to be born with no name of their own. Their father understood as well. You want no pup for yourself, John? The direwolf graces the banner of House Stark, John pointed out. I am no Stark, father. Their Lord Father, and he isn't. If the story goes as people think, he's a Targaryen. So why did he get a wolf?
Yeah.
So Bran nodded eagerly, the pup, you must train them. Yes, father. Yes, yes. It was not until they were mounted and on their way that Bran allowed himself to taste the sweet air of victory. By then, his pup was snuggled in his arms. Halfway across the bridge, John pulled up suddenly. What is it, John? Can't you hear it? Okay, so they're halfway across a bridge, and
Which
somehow
is completely different because in the show, I think it was Theon that found it.
Rob, yeah, one of them did.
Yeah.
But it's weird that he's halfway across. He's a Targaryen or a Snow.
Well,
And I know he's
I think a Snow makes more sense because of the fact of the matter is that one, he
It-
got a direwolf, and two, the direwolf that he got was as white as snow.
white as snow. You know, like, wouldn't it be freaking awesome if John just turned out to be Ned's bastard?
Yeah.
But yet he also is the hero. Like, I would think that'd be dope. Should be a conspiracy of ravens, murder of crows, definitely some kind of hidden in these two chapters to read between the lines. Yeah, John should have a direwolf and a dragon. That'd be dope.
Or,
Yeah.
or some sort of weird hybrid.
What do you got, Mason?
Greyjoy found him. I thought it was in the
So they
TV
were,
series. Greyjoy.
they're going across a bridge, right? So there's going to be like water or something running underneath. So how loud of a sound did John hear to hear over rushing
Well,
water,
Depends on how,
and then no one else
depends on
gets to hear it?
depending on how loud Bran yelled when he was going back in time. Because they say, like, when he tries to communicate with his dad, he hears a rustling of leaves
Right.
and everything, almost like the trees are spoken. So I'm assuming it was something like that, because it was maybe how it works is when you're calling out to someone's name, they're the only ones that can really hear it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
I don't even think there's like a weirwood near there, though. It's the problem.
But the Weirwood network is all through.
Yeah, the roots.
That's the whole point. The roots go down, they go far.
But he does have a point. Like, Bran can see through a weirwood and see everything that weirwood saw. So if there is no weirwood in that area, he can't see that area as clear, I would think.
I mean, he can see Dawn. What does that tell you? Where's the Weirwood in Dawn?
When does he see Dorne?
Or is that just in the TV series?
No, yeah. He does have weird images in that.
Yeah.
The one where he's falling. I know that much. But I don't remember Dorne. He might have saw flashes of Dawn in a vision as he was falling, but I don't know if that was in Dorne.
Right, okay.
Yeah, halfway across the bridge. All right, so you got running water most likely underneath, even if it's a little creek. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he's like John Connor, but lives. Unlike John Connor.
No, he died. They both died.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
in the latest, movie and book, they both died.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would be cool if it was just, John's actually just dead.
Yeah. So, John says, "Can't you hear it?" And Bran could hear the wind in the trees, the clatter of their hooves on the ironwood planks, the whimpering of his hungry pup, but John was listening to something else. There, John said. He swung his horse around and galloped back across the bridge. They watched him dismount where the direwolf lay dead in the snow, watched him kneel, and a moment later he was riding back to them, smiling. He must have crawled away from the others, John said. Or been driven away, their father said, looking at the sixth pup. His fur was white where the rest of the litter was gray. His eyes were red as the blood of the ragged man who had died that morning. Bran thought it was curious that this pup alone would have opened his eyes while the others were still blind. Kind of like John. John has always been, they say it earlier, I think, in the book, how bastards grow up fast. Oh no, it's later in the book. Bastards grow up faster. They have to see
Have eyes
everything.
in the back of the head.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty, yeah.
It is also such a weird concept. We hate you because your parents weren't married.
Right.
Wait, what?
It's interesting, man. Sorry, we got into direwolves. But it is interesting. Man.
Yeah, John's been bleeding out for over 14 years now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cold, so it's probably reserved him enough that he's turned into the Night King. You think they'll bring the Night King into the books?
No.
Or a Night King?
No. There may be a leader.
Yeah. I feel like that at the beginning of season 5, all of a sudden we never heard of the Night King, and then by the end of season 5, everyone who around the world knew who the Night King was. Davos mentioned him and everything, and he hadn't even been north ever. But it's like, how the hell would you even know what the Night King is, and why would you believe it?
Right. Yeah.
I kind of think the others are going to use John's body while he's dead, and that's going to be their Night King.
Yeah.
John being the big bad of the thing would be the way in which George would subvert a story. Takes the hero's journey halfway through the story turns into the villain's journey.
But speaking of Night King, and Old Nan saying, don't trust crows, and the Night's Watch being crows.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Night's King who marries a White Walker or another, and then is performing all these different sacrifices. And you have the door with the mouth at the Night Fort where you like shove babies through to sacrifice the others. It's kind of like what was the actual original intent for the Night's Watch, where they like not doing quite what they're supposed to, like been subverted into we're just guarding the wall as opposed to continually sacrificing.
Well, all crows are liars. I mean, if Nan is who we think she is, she's been around a bit and she would know.
Yep. One of the stories we hear. Oh, go ahead, buddy.
Said she's been around a bit with Sir Duncan the Tall.
Oh.
She got on
Back then he
with
was
it.
called Sir Duncan the Long.
I don't know what chapter this is.
Oversized.
I don't know what chapter this is, but Bran did his best, although he did not think he ever really fooled her, since his father would not forbid it. She turned to the others. Old Nan told him a story about a bad little boy who climbed too high and was struck down by lightning, and how afterwards the crows came to peck out his eyes. There were crows nested atop. Bran was not impressed. There was crows nests atop the broken tower where no one ever went but him. And sometimes he filled his pockets with corn before he climbed up there, and the crows ate it right out of his hands. None of them have ever shown the slightest bit of interest in pecking out his eyes. Well, the broken tower is where he got shoved off.
Maybe that's why the ravens and crows and all that they're calling for corn. They want Bran because he was a better story than Bran.
Oh man, I love Old Nan.
Yeah, talk about like a character that was essentially just killed off without being killed off.
Yeah. Dude, if I don't see it, she's still alive in my mind.
Well, there's even an excerpt in the part just after when Winterfell is starting to burn and everything, and I can't remember which direwolf it is, but they stick their nose through the fence and they think that they see like a tail or something flying in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't remember that.
Yeah. And I'm just like, that's why I still think that she's a Targaryen or something like that. She knows too much, or she's something. She wouldn't just go away for no reason. If George was gonna be George, and she wasn't important, you get Greyjoy to kill her.
Right. You would see it. Well, she was down. I thought she went with them to King's Landing, or was that only in the? No, that was Septa something. That wasn't Old Man. Okay, yeah, you're right. This is the part here though. So Bran's seeing the kids have people having fun. His eyes stung. He wanted to be down there laughing and running, angry at the thought. Bran knuckled away the tears before they could fall. His 8th name day had come and gone. He was almost a man grown now, too old to cry. It was just a lie, he said bitterly, remembering the crow from his dream. I can't fly. I can't even run. Crows are all liars, Old Nan agreed from the chair where she sat doing her needlework. I know a story about a crow. And I wish he said I would want to hear it, but he goes, I don't want any more stories. Oh, man, I hate your stupid stories. The old woman smiled at him, toothless. My stories? No, my little lord, not mine. The stories are before me and after me, before you too. So, like, these aren't her stories. She's saying these are just, they are. This is the truth. These are stories that have been around for millennia. And she's just passing down the knowledge. I like that. They just are.
Yeah,
I
they
never
just
I never read that
Hmm.
before that way.
So,
yeah, they're not my stories. They are the stories.
The stories, right?
yeah, something just kind of clicked with me. She's kind of like uh, she is to the old gods what Patchface is to the drowned
The
god.
yeah.
Like, just has this,
And Melisandre is to the Lord of Light.
yeah, just kind of has this weird wisdom. Like,
Mhm.
Patchface doesn't even know he's speaking prophecies. He just
Right.
is a fool,
Right.
and she's
Right.
just telling
She
stories.
knows she's
But
been telling stories for how long, Mason? Generations, right?
yeah,
And she must know even more stories, but she tells certain ones to every start.
yeah, she tells the ones that she like thinks are important.
Mhm. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. She might have been there since Bran's grandfather was young.
It's his
Because
grandfather.
yeah, grandfather. I don't care whose stories they
Wait,
are.
all right, here we go. This is what I was talking about.
Mhm.
Here.
After the fire, Summer, via Bran's consciousness, looks to the sky and perceives a great winged snake whose roar was a river of flames. What? Okay. The imagery aligns with the red comet, which characters across Westeros interpret various as a dragon. But what does Old Nan say about it? Old Nan
Well,
tells us.
yeah, but what I'm saying is that this part here, the
Mhm.
old Nan's already gone at this stage. This
Right.
was after the fire at Winterfell.
Right. Right. I'm just saying before that, when they first see the comet, Old Nan's the one that tells them. Everyone knows a red comet means dragons. Like so.
Yeah,
It's kind of interesting that he's in summer, looks up and sees this comet, but as the dire wolf, he sees it as a great winged snake whose roar was a river of flame. So like it's almost like the dire wolf perceives the truth of the comet, and Bran's getting that through being part of the dire wolf at that moment.
yeah.
That's kind of interesting. I never thought of that either. That's why these books are so good, because you could read them 30 times and on the 31st time you're like, holy crap, I never noticed that. The winged
Yeah,
serpent.
it's while escaping through the crypts, Bran walks into Summer to see it, and it was during that part where he sees the winged serpent.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
Anne is actually an old dragon, and she was just using a glamour to be a person, and then
yeah,
that was her leaving. I
maybe
solved it.
you might have, she's either like
she's Nettles.
She's Nettles, Sierra Sea Star, or some rando we don't know about. Because let's think, Bloodraven's still alive. Okay. His greatest love was Sierra Sea Star, who we don't hear what happens to her. And she was also
That would make
a
sense.
witch.
That would make sense. Her saying, all crows are liars,
Right.
bastards,
But
just like my ex.
he's Blood Raven, but he was the Lord Commander
Yeah, that's what I'm
of
saying. He was a
yeah,
crow.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. That prick told me he'd come back, something
Yep.
like that.
All he does now is haunt my fucking dreams.
Yeah. The winged serpent vision is unique to the books and not depicted right. In the TV, it reinforced Martin's use of the direwolves as bridges between the natural, and magical worlds. I 100% agree. Uh Kirsty Angel says in Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven is a harbinger of death and the devil, which blood ravens share many parallels with. Give it to us, Kirsty, excuse me. Let's see. The crow. Okay, so Bran keeps talking like the crow had tricked him into flying. So like, the crow's a trickster. It's trying to get him. Now, if we go Raven though, we'll jump ahead. So they do bring a cage of ravens. Maester Lewin gave them to bring to the wall. So they're special Winterfell ravens. Here we go.
Because there was also a rare, I think down at the High Towers have a white raven. I think it's
that's at the Citadel. The Citadel has white ravens that tell the changing of the season. Well, it's at the Citadel, not at the High Towers tower. But only the white ravens are bigger, smarter, and they're only used to tell the changing of the seasons.
Yeah, it's a very subtle way of racism. We saying that white people are better.
Well, but he flips that in the book when you have the Night's Watch defending the realm, the Black Brothers defending the realm against the others and their whites. So,
well, yeah, but that's the thing. That's when I said that Jon Snow's still going to be the hero of the story. It's just now going to be told from his perspective as the Night King. So
that'd be nuts. So we meet Mormont when Jon gets up there. Lord Commander of the Night's Watch was a gruff old man with an immense bald head and a shaggy gray beard. He had a raven on his arm, and he was feeding it kernels of corn. I am told you can read. He shook the raven off, and it flapped its wings and flew to the window where it sat watching as Mormont drew a roll of paper from his belt and handed it to Jon. Corn? It muttered in its raucous voice. Corn? Jon's fingers traced the outline of the direwolf in the white wax of the broken sea. He recognized Rob's hand, but the letters seemed too blur and run as he tried to read them. He realized he was crying, and then through the tears he found the sense in the words and raised his head. He woke up, he said. The gods gave him back. Crippled, Mormont said. I'm sorry, boy. Read the rest of the letter. He looked at the words, but they didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Bran was going to live. My brother is going to live, he told Mormont. The Lord Commander shook his head, gathered up a fistful of corn, and whistled. The raven flew to his shoulder and cried, live, live. Jon ran down the stairs. So like right there. Okay. This, we know this raven. Okay. It's just saying corn. Now it's responding to live. But then, later on, Jon Snow's there and he starts saying king and snow. And you wonder, is this future Bran or is this Blood Raven right now controlling Mormont's raven? Because he was the Lord Commander. He went missing. It seems to me Benjen, Mormont, they know more than they let on. Benjen tricks, I feel like, tricks Jon into becoming part of the Night's Watch. If the story is correct, knowing his lineage and his ability to be king, the real king. So he gives away those rights, and Mormont takes him under his wing to be the next Lord Commander because he knows his pedigree or something about him's important. Like, I don't know. Like, he's a bastard of Ned Stark, fine. But he is right away chosen to be his Lord Mormont's steward, to learn how to become Lord Commander after him. It's a weird, like, what makes Jon Snow that special? You have a Tarly there,
Corn.
I
don't know, maybe he was always aware of what he was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard when you bring stuff like Bran's abilities in and everything like that. He could have been saying Snow King before then. We don't know that he's just saying it now for the first time.
True. Very true, because Mormont doesn't make a
Yeah.
like a weird face or anything, but still it's kind of funky. In Zoroastrianism, nailed it. George has based a lot of religion on. True. The snake is one of the evil animals, and Oberon, red viper, as the winged serpent, red comet, is the only one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
We're talking ravens, girl. Give me ravens. Give me crows. Brian actually owned a raven. They are smart. They can talk. They will say words not taught to them. As smart as a 5-year-old.
I'll be back in a minute.
All right, that's terrifying. For some reason, that scares me. Let's see. Do we have more of the raven? Even his okay. Yeah. Tyrion looked pointed at his right hand. Why? I have steel in my hand, Sir Alistair. Although it appears to be a crab fork. Shall we duel? He hopped up on his chair and began to poke at the thorn's chest with a tiny fork. Roars of laughter filled the tower room. Bits of crab flew from the Lord Commander's mouth as he began to gasp and choke. Even his raven joined in, cawing loudly from above the window. Duel, duel, duel. This I don't know. Do you think there's something special about his raven? Mason, if you're there.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying
No,
to
it's
press it. It wasn't unmuting. Yeah, I think he's definitely a mouthpiece. I kind of lean more towards Bran from the future. Like maybe Bran is the three-eyed crow, and he's like whispering, just trying to like push the timeline into where he wants it to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could see that too. No, King Robert did not know about John. Like, if you're meaning like John being a Targaryen, or he just thinks he's a bastard of Ned's. The one time the honorable Ned Stark screwed up. This is another one where Mormont's Raven is there. He's talking to Tyrion. He's telling Tyrion, I sent Benjen Stark to search for Jan Royce's son, lost on his first ranging. The Royce boy was green as summer grass, yet he insisted on the honor of his own command, saying it was his due as a knight. I did not wish to offend his lord father, so I yielded. I sent him out with 2 men I deemed as good as any in the watch. More fool I. Fool, the raven agreed. Tyrion glanced up. The bird peered down at him with those beady black eyes ruffling its wings. Fool, it called again. Doubtless old Mormont would take it amiss if he throttled the creature. A pity. So, like, it wasn't just saying fool responding, I feel like responding to Mormont. It was looking at Tyrion, calling him a fool.
Oh, I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah. You know, the
Do
bird.
we know how old this raven is?
No. I was wondering that too. I don't think we get like an age on it, but it seems like he's had it for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking like if like Bloodraven's been missing what 80 years? Like that'd be way too long for a raven, but like maybe he like I don't know. There's like a lineage of ravens that he's been using.
Yeah.
And
It
that's
could
how he
be.
like keeps an eye on it on the Night's Watch.
Yeah. We're back in King's Landing this time. Pycelle stroked his beard thoughtfully. It is what are they talking about here? Oh, the death of Lord Aaron. I've heard it said that poison is a woman's weapon. Pycelle stroked his beard thoughtfully. It is said women, cravens, and eunuchs. He cleared his throat and spat a thick glob of phlegm onto the rushes. Above them, a raven cawed loudly in the rookery. The Lord Varys was born a slave in lease. Did you know that? But put not your trust in spiders, my lord. You know, like, why throwing a raven called loudly in the rookery? Like it's like he's lying. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I always wonder that. Like, every time he puts a raven or a crow, I always wonder if he's trying to tell us something. Back with John, John shook his head. No one, no one. The castle is always empty. He had never told anyone of the dream. What's the dream he's talking about? I forget the dream. Oh, sometimes I dream about it, he said. I'm walking down this long, empty hall. My voice echoes all around, but no one answers. So I walk faster, opening doors, shouting names. I don't even know who I'm looking for. Most nights it's my father, but sometimes it's Rob instead, or my little sister, Arya, or my uncle. The thought of Benjamin Stark saddened him. His uncle was still missing. The old bear had sent out arranging. We know that. Sir Jeremy Rick had led 2 sweeps, and Corn Halfhand gone forth from the Shadow Tower, but they have found nothing. There's no trace of Benjen. Do you ever find anyone in your dream? John shook his no one. The castle is always empty. He had never told anyone of the dream, and he did not understand why he was telling Sam now. Yet somehow it felt good to talk of it. Even the ravens are gone from the rookery, and the stables are full of bones. That always scares me. I start to run then, throwing open doors, climbing the tower 3 steps at a time, screaming for someone, for anyone. And then I find myself in front of the door to the crypts. It's black inside. I can see the steps spiraling down. Somehow I know I have to go down there, but I don't want to go. I'm afraid of what might be waiting for me. The old kings of winter are down there, sitting on their thrones with stone wolves at their feet and iron swords across their laps. Very important. But it's not them I'm afraid of. I scream that I'm not a Stark, that 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 this isn't my place, but it's no good. I have to go anyways. So I start down, feeling the walls as I descend. With no torch to light the way, it gets darker and darker until I want to scream. He stopped frowning, embarrassed. Uh, he stopped frowning, embarrassed. That's when I awake. I always wake. His skin cold and clammy, shivering in the darkness of his cell. Ghost would leap up beside him, his warmth as comforting as daybreak. He would go back to sleep with his face pressed in the direwolf's shaggy white fur. Do you dream of Hornhill, John? John asked. Nope. All right, so he was just talking about there was no ravens to be seen. We're reading every piece that has a raven in it. I'm telling you that right now. That just rhymes with raven. Okay. Oh, shit. Is that one? Oh, that's Lord Stannis. Oh, raven again. Bran felt sudden dread, dark wings, dark words. Old Nan always said it. So again, even though ravens are the ones that bring messages, dark wings, words. Ravens never bring good news in Old Nan's world. And of late, the messenger ravens have been providing the truth of the proverb. Yep. And now another raven, another message. Bran clung to hope. Was the bird from mother? Is she coming home? I like this one too. I was going to bring this one up because I did remember this. This is up at the wall again. Do you think they'll keep us together? Pip wondered as they gorged themselves happily. Toad made a face. I hope not. I'm sick of looking at those ears of yours. Ho, said Pip. Listen to the crow called the Raven Black. So kind of one of those things. They're both they're different animals, but they're both black birds. So like you can't trust either. If we're gonna listen to Old Nan, can't trust either of them. And to me, the crows are the worst. Let's see what we have. Yep, go ahead, buddy.
It kind of reminded me of the like mind game of the two guards standing in front of a door, and one always lies and one of them always tells the truth.
Mm-hmm. the
All right, so
duality. Like you have
yeah,
that opposites, kind of like the
yeah,
door to the faceless men. One's ebony, one's white. So you
mm,
have the weirwood door and then the shade of the evening wood. It's kind of that duality. They're different but the same.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Kirsty says, I think there's something in how many times Mormont's Raven repeats words which will link to certain things. Yeah. It's usually three. Usually. I've been noticing, I always thought it was always three, but I've been noticing there's a couple times where it's two, like fool, fool. But when Jon Snow's around, it always seems like three. Um, oh, okay. How would he would have tried to kill him otherwise then? Yeah, oh God, yeah. Yeah. If Robert knew anything about John, he'd be dead. I mean, he's trying to kill um Daenerys across the sea, and for all they know, she's just a girl trying to survive. Um, well, she did marry the Dothraki. I think that's why he decided. Also to note, Kirsty says, with reference to their eyes, black eyes are predominantly associated with the Dornish and Dothraki. Danny's associated with three the most out of everyone. Um, so are they inherently bad? Are they inherently good? Or does it depend? To me, it's like most of these animals are just birds. But when you involve the old gods and skin changing and magic, a lot of the times these animals are used to spy, um, to bring bad news, like, so they're never really positive. Even even the Night's Watch, the majority of them are terrible people, given a second chance, but they end up killing their Lord Commander. Jon Snow, even though he did break the rules, um, you can't trust a crow. It's kind of interesting that way. Uh, helping out chat. Uh, Pycelle smiled. It's good to see you in such a fierce humor, my lord. He leaned close and lowered his voice. There was a raven this morning, a letter for the queen from her lord father. I thought you had best known. Dark wings, dark words, Ned said grimly. What of it? So again, old Nan has a lot of influence on the Starks. She's like a million years old. She's been around for at least 4 generations. At least 4 generations. So let's even say a generation's only 15 years. I mean, she's been around and they said when she was got there, she was old. So she's been there for at least 60 years. And Hodor might be her great grandson. Maybe her grandson, maybe her great grandson. I forget which one. But you see, she instilled in these Starks certain, like, she's the reason they don't forget certain proverbs, stories, lessons. It's almost like if the idea that there always has to be a Stark in Winterfell. They don't remember why. They just see it as a thing they have to honor. And now they repeat these phrases that old Nan, who says all crows are liars. You have the Hand of the King repeating dark wings, dark words. So she did. Old Nan does have a lot of influence. Brian McCann says, what if the Maesters was wargs too, and their birds flew so well was due to warging piloting them? I do wonder sometimes, like, how do you train a raven to fly from, like, I don't know, King's Landing to Winterfell? Now, I don't know if it's correct if the birds can fly to one. I know they say it in here. Ravens can fly to like most ravens can fly to one destination, but I don't know if that means to there and back. Some are smart enough to go to 2 or 3. Those are special ones. But like, how do you train that? How do you like keep that raven going for hundreds and hundreds of miles to Winterfell? That I never thought of that. How smart are these damn birds?
All right, I'm
Like,
back.
all right. I was just saying, like, how smart are the ravens? Because let's say you trained a raven and they say most ravens can fly to one destination, but you have ones that fly from King's Landing all the way up to Winterfell.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty freaking far.
Oh, it is. I also assumed that a lot of the time that they would stopping at different places. Like, so
Mhm.
say for instance, if they needed to get something up to the wall, it would always go via Winterfell,
Yeah.
or something like that. So the crow that starts off flying to the
From
wall
King's Landing.
isn't from King's Landing. So it'll fly from there to say I don't know, House Aaron, and then from there they'll send one across to the
See,
Reeds, and then from
they
there,
don't
and
ever
then
say that though. They say
no,
they
but I
teach,
mean,
you
I know
know,
they say that they can go that way, and the way in which that the younger birds are taught is by tagging along on a flight.
well, yeah, because you think about this, like, let's say it's a very important message. You, as a king, you don't want it stopping anywhere else but where
Yeah.
you want it to go. So now look at the lower right of your screen, everyone. There's a crown. That's the King's Land. So we'll just say that's King's Landing. Look,
Well, it says King's Landing, so
yeah. So, yeah, I know. Go all the way up. You see the reeds. That's the beginning of the north. So it has to fly all the way up there. And then from there, all the way up to the middle where House Stark is. That maybe it isn't one bird, but that's kind of crazy that it they make it they write it out like it is.
Well, okay. Now you think of that. This is where you've got to switch your brain off if you want to actually try and at least enjoy part of the show. Remember, they sent a crow from beyond the wall down to Dragonstone,
Right.
and Danny was back before that night.
Well, I mean, that's the show. But yes, that crow, that raven went directly there. It wasn't like it stopped in 5 different places. It flew.
See, I would always have assumed that when they don't send one, they send like a flock of 6, and they just send it, 10, 15, 20 minutes apart from each other, because you can't just trust that one crow for one of the most important messages ever.
Right.
And then, something happens to one of them. There are still natural predators out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Truth. I didn't. Yeah. You got to think about that too. Hawks and stuff like that. You're saying they're saying he's the same age no way. Hodor is the same age.
Yeah, I don't know about the same age as John, but he's not an old guy like in the show.
Oh no. He's I just thought he was a little bit older than them. It says 283 AC or before. So we don't really know if it's that year or a little bit before that. And then John Snow.
All right, back in a second again. Sorry.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah, somewhere in the book, I'm blanking on where, but it says that if he wasn't like if he trying to think of how it said it in the book, because it's kind of rude. If he hadn't had the like stroke that made him a little more simple, then he would have been like a great knight or a master at arms or something.
Right. Well, we don't know what made him in the books that way.
Yeah, but like
I know what you're saying. Yeah, the dude is.
I don't. Please explain.
Well, in the show, it's a time loop thing with Bran to save his own ass, he cripples young Walder, young Hodor, who was just a jolly young kid, and cripples him.
He could have
into
been the
only-
next Dunk.
I mean, he's super strong,
Yeah.
so it is pretty sad.
Yeah.
Hodor is 7 feet tall. There's only a couple people in the books that are 7 feet tall, and that's
Well, he's
Dunk.
taller than Dunk. Dunk was
6'11"?
6'11"? Yeah.
He was just under 7, I want to say. Oh, he had a brown beard. Huh.
I think it was
didn't know.
funny, the guy who played Hodor in it, the year that he had off from filming, because remember there was that whole season that he wasn't in there.
Yeah.
He went around. He's a DJ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he was around, touring for an entire year, just partying before.
Old Nan is his great grandmother. So his real name is Walder, although he is slow of wit and stronger than he knows. Hodor can perform tasks gently and deftly once taught. So I didn't realize that. Well, I said it. I mean, I didn't know if he was grandmother or great grandmother. So great grandmother, Old Nan has most likely been around for their great grandfather Rickon, and they said she was old when she got there. And Brian saying before that Nan was stated to have been with the Starks 200 years. They never said that. There's nothing in writing that says how old she is. It's always been like a guess. He also says ravens can fly 20 to 50 miles in a day. Not these ravens are better than that.
That's what I'm saying. So like either Westeros is way smaller than we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's the whole system of their mail is completely fraud.
Mm-hmm.
And it's magical somehow. If they just said they were all imbued somehow with some sort of magic, but then again, magic's not supposed to exist because the dragons were gone.
Right. It hasn't been around for a very long time.
Except over in Essos and everything, because they all had magic or illusions or something along those lines.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, go ahead, buddy.
I was just gonna say a joke. I was just gonna say, like, the Maesters have been using the glass candles this entire time. It's like, a raven arrived just shortly. Here's the message.
It's literally just them communicating through the glass candles.
Yeah.
There was that one Maester that went through his trials and figured it out straight away. He went, it's really easy. You just got to flick the switch at the back and it's on. And they went,
Yeah,
well, we can't let people know that. And then that's all of a sudden. Yeah.
No.
I'll burn us.
So this is Old Nan's history. Old Nan is the oldest person at Winterfell. She came to the castle to nurse a Brandon Stark. She does not recall which one, only that his mother had died birthing him. Sometimes she says that Brandon Stark was the older brother of Lord Rickon Stark, who perhaps his younger brother or a brother of Rickard's father. Nan lost both of her sons during Robert's rebellion, her grandson at the Siege of Pike during Greyjoy's rebellion, and her daughters moved away and died. Her only living relative is her great-grandson, Walder, who was called Hodor after he started to say that word. When Lord Eddard Stark was young, Old Nan taught him the proverb, dark wings, dark words. So even in the wiki, that's like such an important phrase.
Well, they said that she's been there for at least 3 generations.
At least. I'm thinking this is the 4th.
Also, could you explain the glass candles to Brian? Because I don't think he understands what they are.
So glass candles are pieces of obsidian. And when magic is in the world, you are able, if you have the ability, if you focus on the glass candle, you are able to take your consciousness and enter somebody else's mind. A lot of the times it was used for messages, but you can also use it nefariously to corrupt somebody's dreams or drive them nuts. But yeah, that's glass candles are a magical tool of obsidian, and you need 2 of them to make them work correctly, I believe. But yet if you're using one, you're able to get into somebody's mind. Because I believe Quaith uses one.
Quaith,
We're
yeah.
not. Yeah, I don't know
But-
if we're told that, but it's implied that she uses one to enter Danny's.
and then we
dreams.
never hear from her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also used as a trial or a test for
Right.
new
Yep.
maesters to go in there and see if they can quote unquote
Well,
light the glass candle.
when they're going for their Valyrian ring.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the Valyrian steel ring on their chain of necklaces, they're all different metals. The Valyrian steel one is magic. And that is, like you just said, one of their tests is to see if they can light. I guess it maybe lights. I don't know, but light the candle. That's
Well, they
what
say that
they're
that there is a glow to it, hence the lighting of the glass candle.
right.
It's
And-
also heavily implied that they were actually being used within the House of the Undying as well. That's also something that can bind a person to an object or a place.
Right.
So those people that are all in there, that the only way that you could save them is destroy the glass candle, but you can't destroy a glass candle because it's obsidian. You can't destroy obsidian. That's why they wanted her. That's why they wanted her to burn the place down, because Dragon's fire was the only thing that could free them from that perpetual prison of being alive forever.
What, the old men that were trying to like gnaw at her?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it wasn't a glass. There was like a beating heart.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's heavily implied that that's
Okay.
That,
I never
that,
thought
that's,
of it.
Yeah,
All right.
because everything that the glass candle has been described, you can see it essentially in the house. Like the House of the Undying is probably the most important area that we see for a while, and then it's gone.
Yeah.
Like
It's a very crazy. I mean, that is like still stuff we're waiting to see come to fruition. You
Yeah.
know, like of her dreams and her visions. But I didn't think of that. Because do you think glass candles hold the memories of the people that used it?
100%. I definitely think there's plenty of theories going around. The glass candles are also, you know how the weirwoods hold memories and everything like that.
It's like quartz. Quartz can hold data.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing. Every god has their own form of doing it. The old gods have the weirwoods
and the obsidian.
So like it's
kind of interesting you said that though, because when we meet Merwin, they're talking about the glass candle, and he said, I wasn't able to light it, but it felt like someone was sitting there just moments before I entered. Like he felt a presence. So maybe that was
Ginger.
I never thought Ginger had a dope picture of
He always does.
of Deadpool recently. It was really cool. One of the best artists out there, Ginger Ninja. Check him out if you haven't already. Really nice guy too. Got to meet him in Florida one time. This ever becomes viable again, my YouTube channel, I'll do it again. Yeah, so it's pretty interesting. I kind of want to read that chapter now.
There was a guy
House of the Undying.
Yeah, a guy on YouTube that goes really heavy into the glass candle theory. Michael Knows Something or something or other like that. Don't know if you know the channel.
No.
He's got some
about stuff.
Michael Knows talks about stuff. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He's got a long series of theories that when you hear it doesn't sort of make sense at first and everything. But by the time you're on to his like 15th or 20th video, every one of his series links back to something that was previously said or stated, and you're like, holy shit, this makes a lot of sense. And I could see George doing something like that. He's very big on the world building aspect of it versus what the characters individually do. That's where I, like, initially when I was in his comments and I asked him about, do you think there's any werewoods in werewolf trees in the wall? And he said that's how he believes that it was created. It was through that, pulling up the water from that, freezing it, and then continually doing it over and over and over again. That's what built the actual wall.
Huh.
And that the builder was a grain seer, so he was able to communicate more with the Weirwood network and all these sort of things where you're just like, well, it makes sense. This one guy was able to do all this sort of thing. He had to have some sort of magic involved.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Riff over on Rumble.
Riff on Rumble.
Riff, man, good to see you, bro. It's been a while. Glad you're still around, brother. So good to see you. I'm gonna play a little video, so we'll get copyright claimed like usual. But this guy's channel, I really like his channel. He's an anthropologist, like anthropologist. I can't ever say that word. Robert Seffer, I think his last name is, but he does really weird and cool videos about like the Philosopher's Stone or different weird traits in humans DNA. He talks a lot about not like Third Reich, but like the Aryan root of the Aryan race, the differences between the out of Africa theory and the hybrid theory. I mean, it's really interesting stuff. He goes anywhere from Atlantis to talking about DNA, but cool channel. But this is his about ravens and crows. It's not that long, but we'll listen to a little bit of it.
Celtic mythology, the warrior goddess known as Morrigan is often seen accompanied by a group of birds or appears in the form of a crow or raven herself. Typically, these birds appear in groups of 3 and could be a sign that the Morrigan is watching or possibly getting ready to pay someone a visit. The Mabinogion are the earliest prose literature of Britain. The stories were compiled in the 12th and 13th centuries from earlier oral traditions by medieval Welsh authors, where we read that the raven is a harbinger of death, and about how the witches and sorcerers were believed to have the ability to transform themselves into ravens and fly away, thus enabling them to evade capture.
That's kind of interesting. Turn into a raven and fly away. Kind of like maybe a skin changer, or like your
or like a furry or a feathery vampire.
that too. Or like your second life. They kill you, but you jump into the animal and
like what Ned did.
Right. Is that really loud?
Yeah.
Okay. Turn it down just here. Because the crow's part isn't as good, but the ravens, he has some cool things to say.
The Native Americans, usually, but not always, considered the raven as a trickster, much like the coyote, and in the legends caused mischief and are seen as a symbol of transformation. Some tribes knew the raven as a stealer of souls.
Blood raven, stealing Bran's soul to give to the weirwood net. Because my theory on blood raven, I feel like there's moments like he's gone for the most part, barely alive. Has
having a giant root running out of your head will probably do
out
that
of your eyeball.
Yeah,
that might cause you some issues. But there's moments
so
of
that's
clarity.
why you don't think he's a 3-eyed raven, because he literally can't have 3 eyes now.
No, right. He still really only has one. But he there's moments where it's him. Clarity comes, and that's when he tells us. When Bran asks him about being the 3-eyed raven, there's that moment of clarity where he's like, yeah, I was once called that. But he's talking about the Night's Watch. So like, and then he's gone again, and he's back to whatever the 3-eyed crow is. You know what I mean? Like, I think there is a 3-eyed crow controlling Blood Raven, but Blood Raven being a magical person himself, half Blackwood, half Targaryen, he has still that ability to bring his consciousness back, but then it gets ripped from him. We'll talk about that one day too again.
In the Norse pantheon, Odin is often represented by a pair of ravens. Early artwork depicts him as being accompanied by 2 black birds. Their names translate to thought and memory, serving as Odin's spies, bringing him news each night from the land of men and mortals.
Now, we can kind of think of like Moramont's raven, if it's being skin changed. And I don't, it's a different bird, right? That, or does, I've been wondering this too, because I don't remember, because you read about it in, I want to say it's the Stannis sample chapter. He has a raven that also speaks, I believe. Am I right on that? Or am I thinking of that wrong? All I know is someone's bringing, instead of he's skin changing into it, gathering knowledge from that bird, like it's a spy. These birds are spies for the great other or the children of the forest, whatever.
Which is?
The raven.
So
So
like
like,
the great other, I mean.
oh, who is?
Mhm.
That's a good question. The weirwood net, children of the forest, something like that.
Odin's
And you know what else I have in
daughters-
common?
What's
Is
that?
After Ragnarok, the only person that's left is a character called Leaf.
And Leaf
Mm.
is that little
Mhm.
get bag. Yeah, I forgot. It's Leaf and something else. The only two characters still alive. And
Yep, they
both-
wedged themselves within the tree of life.
right. So you have Leaf under the tree with the Odin figure who has all the knowledge, Blood Raven, who uses ravens and crows probably to spy on people and also influence them as tricksters. Like, because that three-eyed crow, whoever that is, tricked Bran into opening his third eye, scaring him into believing if he hit the floor, he would have died. But we kind of
You
can
don't
see
think
that.
that's true?
No, because Euron's still alive. And I feel like Euron failed the test. So I think Euron hit because he didn't believe that he could fly. He talks about that too. One of his things he goes on about, oh, why can't we fly? I forget exactly what he says, but I don't know if that's in the Forsaken chapter or one of the ones in the books. But you get references to, as a child, was he, did Bloodraven visit him too in his mind? And did he fail that test?
That's even if the Forsaken is still a chapter.
Oh, God, that's the best chapter he wrote. It better be.
The warlike Valkyries were sometimes said to take the shape of ravens. In the Norse shamanic tradition, Odin's ravens represent the powers of necromancy, clairvoyance, and telepathy, and they were guides for the dead. Since ravens can be taught to speak and have such a complex vocabulary of their own, they are connected symbolically to both wisdom and prophecy.
Hello, Howard.
All right, we're not gonna watch this part. Yeah. So I always thought ravens were the positive animal in mythology, and crows were the ones that got the bad rap.
That's why he's subverting it.
No, that's why I subverted it. Yeah, maybe. Alpha Kenny 1 wants us giving us some stuff. Merwin the Mage, a maester versed in the occult arts, uses a glass candle to spy on events across Westeros. He reveals to Sam Tarly that he observed his arrival in Old Town through the candle.
Is that in the books?
I don't remember that part. I thought he couldn't light the candle.
I think he was the first one to light the candle, and
Yeah, he was the first one to light it.
Since the dragons came back.
No, because it was him doing it when the dragons come back, when the comet happened.
Yeah. Some theorize glass candles interact with weirwood networks or the song of the earth, allowing access to past or future visions. Truth. Yep. Euron claims to possess a glass candle, Feast of Crows, the Reaver, and may use it to manipulate visions or dreams, aligning with his godlike aspirations. The air resurgence underscores the series' theme that magic is a sword without a hilt.
That's an interesting way of looking at it.
Yeah, Alpha Kenny One has some good stuff. Kirsty Angel says there's definitely a connection between the glass candles in Harrenhal. The towers resemble 5 glass candles. Yeah, they do.
It's because they're all burnt.
They're with dragon fire.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I mean, if only we were ever shown in any sort of medium that there's a lot of visions that happen around there.
1 second, I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, well, I mean, especially when it comes to using the glass candles as a plot device to expose secrets and stuff, like that's how I can see them. They could use them for warning of threats as well, but mainly like long form communication. So it also makes sense with the Citadel conspiracy or the Great Conspiracy that the Maester's skepticism about the glass candles and everything may be a way of them deliberately trying to hide the fact that they know that it's magic and that it's working. And I think referred to as one of the Black Maesters or Grey Maester. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, it's basically going against the Citadel's anti-magic, propaganda / agenda.
Oh, Marwyn, you're talking about? Yeah. Yeah, he definitely gets a bad rap from the other maesters.
But I think that's because he was able to bring magic, or not so much he didn't bring magic, but he was the witness to magic coming back via the glass candles. And
yeah, but even before that, he has always he was involved in magic
the cult.
The occult.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the reason why I think it was supposed to be him. It was like it was almost predestined for him to be the one that it happens to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're all going, all right, if you think you know about magic, blah, blah, we're going to do your trials now. You're going to do, and they're going in and light it.
Because think about it. He has a connection with Mary Mazdul, and she's into the dark arts. I mean,
not anymore, but she was.
Well, before the dragons were even back, she was able to conjure spirits
or bring people back to life.
Yeah, so she was a necromancer, and then you got what's his name, who's also a necromancer. The guy who made turn the mountain into the strong.
Qyburn.
Yeah. Wow, so maybe he's also into necromancy.
Well, he even mentions it about necromancy through not so much through science, but not through the traditional methods. I can't remember what it was. So
all right, so Mirwin, this is Reddit. The candle was unpleasantly bright. There was something queer about it. The flame did not.
It had rainbows in it.
The flame did not flicker, even when Archmaester Merwin closed the door so hard that papers blew off a nearby table. The light did something strange to colors too. White were bright as fresh fallen snow. Yellow shone like gold. Reds turned to flame, but the shadows were so black they looked like holes in the world. Sam found himself staring. The candle itself was 3 feet tall and slender as a sword. Rigid and twisted, glittered black. Is that? Oh man, give me more, dude. Now we need to find this chapter. Shit.
You don't remember that?
I want to read the whole thing.
Okay.
I think that's
you remember that?
Sam chapter.
Go to the last chapter in A Feast of Crows.
Okay. Sorry, what did you say, Mason?
So I think that's the last Sam chapter in A Feast for Crows.
Mason is on board. Let's see, kids. Let's see. Come on, computer. There you go. It's working a little slow. Sorry about that. Let me.
Wait, so someone's just got the whole thing uploaded in PDF form, do they?
Huh?
Someone has the whole thing just uploaded in PDF form that you look at online.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
I've been looking at the books like a fucking chump.
Oh yeah, I always go to the PDF because it's just easier to, control F and look for words like crow or raven. Though craven comes up a lot in the books, I've noticed. Wow, what is going on? Let me just drop that until this thing uploads. Sorry about that.
Do you guys think that Marwyn was using the glass candle to learn about the Maester conspiracy?
Mm-hmm. I definitely think because he was against the anti-magic agenda, and no one was. When you're a part of the process, you see how everything's done, and he can see when things obviously didn't make sense, why they were pushing certain things. He's just like, there's got to be something else to it. So I think he was trying to use it to spy on them or find out the real reason that they're behind it all. Because it makes sense for his character.
Yeah.
Hope nothing bad happened to him.
Oh, that would suck.
Mm.
He's an interesting guy.
He was for a chapter.
Yeah, they're off to go see Danny, aren't they?
No.
So I think he goes to be a maester for Danny, but Sam stays.
Oh, I thought they both go.
I think so. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think. Hold on, we'll get back to that.
Yeah, we can check the PDF when it loads.
Yeah, awkward silence. So.
Yeah, awkward silence is okay. I'm weird. I always am weird about it. What?
Now it's awkward since you made it up.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's the part. All right, let's share this, suckers.
I'm big in it.
I'm big in it. There we go. So we ended at, is that obsidian? Said the other man in the room, a pale, fleshy, pasty-faced young fellow with round shoulders, soft hands, close-set eyes, and food stains on his robes. Call it dragon glass. Archmaester Merwin glanced at the candle for a moment. It burns, but it's not consumed. What feeds the flames? Asked Sam. What feeds a dragon's fire? Merwin seated himself upon a stool. All Valerian sorcery is rooted in blood or fire. The sorcerers of the Freehold could see across mountains, seas, and deserts with one of these glass candles. They could enter a man's dreams and give him visions and speak to one another half a world apart, seated before their candles. Do you think that might be useful, Slayer? We would have no more need of ravens, only after battles. The Archmaester peeled a sour leaf off a bale, shoved it in his mouth, and began to chew it. Tell me all you told our Dornish Sphinx. I know much of it and more, but some small parts may have escaped my notice. He was not a man to be refused. Sam hesitated a moment, then told his tale again to Marwyn. Alaras, who is one of what's-his-name's daughters, and the other novice listened. Maester Aemon believed that Daenerys Targaryen was fulfillment of a prophecy. Her, not Stannis, nor Prince Rhaegar, nor the princeling whose head was dashed against the wall. Born amidst salt and smoke beneath a bleeding star, I know the prophecy, which is interesting that he knows that prophecy.
Yeah, also that describes Tyrion.
Yeah, it does. It describes a few people. I mean, if Jon comes back, his chest was smoking from the hot blood in a cold night. There was a dude crying, salt water. You know what I mean? A lot of people do. Meryn turned his head and spat a gob of red phlegm onto the floor. Not that I would trust it. Gorgon of Old Gish once wrote that a prophecy is like a treacherous woman. She takes your member in her mouth, and you moan with the pleasure of it and think, how sweet, how fine, how good this is. and then her teeth snap shut and your moans turn to screams. That is the nature of prophecy, said Gorgon. Prophecy will bite your prick off every time he chewed a bit. Still, Alaras stepped up next to Sam. Aemon would have gone to her if he had the strength. He wanted us to send a maester to her, to counsel her, to protect her, and fetch her safely home. Did he? Archmaester Merwin shrugged. Perhaps it's good that he died before he got to Old Town. Elsewise, that gray sheep might have had to kill him. Or elsewise, the gray sheep might have had to kill him. And that would have made the poor old deers wring their wrinkled hands. Kill him, said Sam, shocked. Why? If I tell you, they may need to kill you too. Merwin smiled with a ghastly smile, the juices of sour leaf running red between his teeth. Who do you think killed all the dragons the last time around? Gallant dragon slayers armed with swords, he spat. The world the Citadel is building has no place in it for sorcery or prophecy or glass candles, much less dragons. Ask yourself why Aemon Targaryen was allowed to waste his life upon the wall, when by rights he should have been raised to Archmaester. His blood was why? Oh, his blood was why. He could not be trusted, no more than I can. What will you do? Asked Hilarious the Sphinx. Why is she a Sphinx?
I have no idea. What does it mean in context to this? Is there a specific
It's because she's like from everywhere, has a bunch of different lineages. Like they can't tell where he's
So
from.
they just call her that. Okay. Get myself to Slaver's Bay in Aemon's place. The swan ship that delivered Slayer should serve my needs well enough. The gray sheep will send their men on a galley, I don't doubt. With fair winds, I should reach her first. And forge your chain. Oh, I'm sorry. Reach her first. Merwin glanced at Sam again and frowned. You should stay and forge your chain. If I were you, I would do it quickly. A time will come when you'll be needed on the wall. He turned to the pasty-faced novice. Find Slayer a dry cell. He'll sleep here and help you tend the ravens. But Sam sputtered, the other archmaesters, the what? What's that one? Essential? Yeah, sure. What should I tell them? Tell them how wise and good they are. Tell them that Aemon commanded you to put yourself into their hands. Tell them that you have always dreamed that one day you might be allowed to wear the chain and serve the greater good, that service is the highest honor and obedience the highest virtue. But say nothing of prophecies or dragons unless you fancy poison in your porridge. Merwin snatched at a stained leather cloak off a peg near the door and tied it tight. Sphinx, look after this one. I will, Alaris answered, but the Archmaester was already gone. They heard his boots stomping down the steps. Where has he gone? Asked Sam, bewildered. To the docks. The mage is not a man who believes in wasting time. I have a confession. Ours was no chance encounter, Sam. The mage sent me to snatch you up before you spoke to Theobald. He knew that you were coming. How? Alaris nodded at the glass candle. Sam stared at the strange pale flame for a moment, then blinked and looked away. Outside the window, it was growing dark. There's an empty sleeping cell under, I'm reading the whole thing. I'm sorry. Cell under mine in the west tower with steps that lead right up to the Walgrave's chambers, said the pasty-faced youth. If you don't mind the ravens quaking, there's a good view of the honey wine. Will that serve? I suppose. All right, it's almost over. I will bring you some woolen coverlets. Stone walls turn cold at night, even here. My thanks. There was something about the pale, soft youth that he misliked, but he did not want to seem discourteous. So he added, my name's not Slayer, truly. I am Samuel Tarley. I am Pate, the other said, like the pig boy. So Sam has a feeling something's off with this kid who we know from the prologue is dead. Pate is dead.
I
So
thought his name was Pate.
I would have an accent mark. So Pate, how does Sam get that feeling of just, not trusting this guy? There's something off about him. He mislikes. And Sam likes most people.
That's true.
Right?
He's a people person, sort of like her.
Yeah. I don't know.
It could be a faceless man.
Well, he is. He is a faceless man. They killed him in the beginning. He
I'm
touches
saying-
like a poison coin or something.
No, I'm saying like that's not Pate there. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Right.
I'm saying the person who's impersonating Pate could be a faceless man. I'm not
It
saying
is.
that Pate always was a faceless man.
No. Pate died, and the
Yeah, that's
faceless
what
man took his spot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay.
And they kind of imply it's what's his name, the same faceless man that Jack and Hagar, right?
Bless you.
Lulled into the waters to their deaths. Instead, all sirens commit suicide if one bypasses Saw. Huh. There was an artist who specialized in painting seascapes who did the same thing so he could experience the ocean and paint it better.
That's cute. It's one way to
Oh man. Let's see any others. I don't know, man. It's been interesting. I don't know if I got across the importance of crows and ravens, that I pretty much think we shouldn't trust any of them, because all crows are liars and ravens bring dark words, or dark wings, dark words. So both times old Nan told us neither one is good.
She sounds like she's all ACAB. All crows are bastards.
Yeah. Jackin' a car.
Well, I didn't think you saw that.
I just saw it now. That was great. Good times. So what should we go over next week? People in the chat, anything you want us to cover next week? Because
Children of Gods,
what?
Part 1 and 2. That's the opening of Stargate SG-1.
Oh, okay. We could do that. We'll do it on Rumble though.
Yeah, because there's full frontal nudity in it. So,
Well, yeah, I know. I'm just trying to get my hours back up, which I'm doing. Thank you to
Okay.
everybody that watches, because you've helped me get my hours getting closer back to where it needs to be monetized. So thank you. Sphinx are meant to be neither male, female, and she's all right. So is Alaris, is she playing a dude? Yeah, she has to if she's there, right? But she's really Sorella. Children of the Forest spent time at the Citadel in history. They're still there and can turn male and female, and hermaphrodites will tie to genetic engineering. Children of the Forest. I don't remember in history they saying they've been at the Citadel.
well, I don't think they have been at the Citadel. I don't think they've been that far down.
I vaguely remember something about that, but I think it was like way before, like even Aegon's conquest.
Oh yeah, it would have to be.
So it was before the Citadel was around.
No, the Citadel's been around for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Citadel, Old Town, they've been there for many, many moons. Oh, Riff. Shit. I am sorry if Riff is still out there, because it showed him saying hello in the chat, but he also sent a $2 Rumble showing love from here because fuck Google. Thank you, sir. I am sorry, Riff. I missed that. I'll have to message him or something. I don't know how to contact him though. But we do have 6 people watching on Rumble, so thank you very much, and everybody over on the YouTube. I didn't think we were even going to go this long, so that's nice. Any last words on? I mean, we could still talk. I don't care. But any last words on crows, ravens?
Ravens are good. Crows are bad.
I think they're both bad.
And also, I think your theory is bollocks.
What? He's not the 3-eyed crow?
Mm-hmm.
You son of a bitch. I just found, and I've never seen this one before. Oh, real quick. You just made me think of something here. Share this sucker.
Quick.
Oh, yeah. From March 2nd, 2016. Need to move it. Oops, sorry. Need to move it over here, though. Boop. The theory, the three-eyed crow, contrary to popular opinion, is not Bloodraven at all. Bloodraven is not the altruistic for the greater good. What? He's not? Okay. Just working from the shadows and willing to do whatever is necessary. Character I thought he was on my first read. Oh, okay. I'm going to try and work my way through the quotes and thought process that led me to this conclusion. Is Bran's fall. So we'll talk about the fall. But it was no good. He had gone to the stable first, seeing his pony there in its stall, except it wasn't his pony anymore. He was getting a real horse and leaving the pony behind, and all of a sudden Bran just wanted to sit down and cry. He turned and ran off before Hodor and the other stable boys could see the tears in his eyes. That was the end of his farewells. Instead, Bran spent the morning alone in the Godswood trying to teach his wolf to fetch a stick and failing. Okay, the hearted tree had always frightened him. Trees ought not have eyes, Bran thought, or leaves that looked like hands. And this one, when the wolf got to his feet and began to howl. Okay, somewhere off in the distance, a wolf was howling. Crows circled the broken tower waiting for corn. Yeah, when he fell, that's one thing. Oh, thanks, honey. Tea. Sweetheart, thank you very much. No, it's okay. Thank you. We're almost done. Again, going back to what you said, Grant, crows and wolves, that symbiotic, like the wolf was howling when he fell and the crows were flying above him. Okay. Let's just skip to where he thinks. Give me what you really want to say. There are different kinds of wings. Wings, not one should wings. Okay, so putting dragons aside for a minute, it's just a metaphor for wings. Every flight begins as a fall. If flying is a metaphor for green sight or leaving one's own body with green shapeshifter magic, then the fall seems to be the crisis that forces one into action. For Bran, of course, I mean the fall. He is falling. We know the crows are circling. What if Bran, in his panic, reached out to the birds above him? I'll read this and maybe we'll talk about it another time. I'm going to save this one. Boop. Oh, it's already saved. I must have saved it earlier. Sorry about that. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, George R.R. Martin's here, everybody. While your theory does seem to have some sort of evidence, it lacks the proper conclusion to make it viable as a true theory. Shut up, George. It's not him. My wife goes, is it really him? I mean, it looks like George Martin. Hey, E-Hacker in the house. Drop the like. Have a great stream. Thanks, buddy. We're almost done anyways. But yeah, let's wrap it up. Any last words, boys?
No. Oh,
Don't trust birds.
Yeah. Work hard, don't get sodomized. There we go.
The counting crows suck.
Words I live by.
Ginger, you're wrong about that. I used to think the same thing. They have that. Yeah, I did. Back in the day when they first came out, I didn't like them. Yeah, but if you,
I mean, you might have been under a few substances at the stage, so your brain wasn't quite working right.
Maybe. But what's that song I really like from them? Catapult. That's a great song.
No, that one sucks.
Out
of all the songs that you picked Catapult.
Catapult. It's just like you hate someone.
Yeah, I hate it. Exactly. Yes, I hate it. It's a dumb song.
It's a great song. And then Mrs. Potter's Lullaby is one of my favorites. The greatest breakup song, though, ever. Weird Al Yankovic. One More Minute, I think it's called. Check it out. Great original.
I don't mind
Weird
the
Al.
"Accidentally in Love" one. I think that's a sweet song. But that's it.
Ah, man. Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald was a patsy. My last words. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. 100%.
Oh yeah.
Those files are getting released in like 2 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah, JFK's. Yeah. 15 days from when he announced or signed the order. And then let's not forget, hopefully he'll release Roswell and all that good stuff. And we will have a plethora of things to talk about on Saturdays.
Yeah. Dude,
Mhm.
I'm surprised that MLK was doing Diddy parties before Diddy was. That was a bit of a surprise.
Oh yeah, man.
And it was all paid for by the CIA. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. What were you gonna say, Mason?
I was gonna say, I actually drove through Roswell and I went to the museum down there. It's,
Oh, yeah?
really cool. Yeah, they have like hundreds of, it's like copies of people like signing their witnessing of what went down. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to talk about more of that stuff when the files come out. Carl Karsnark. I love that name. All crows are liars. It is known. Sorry, Mr. Stream. I'll try to catch the next one. Thank you for even stopping in, man.
thank you. You're my favorite KK. Take that,
Yeah.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Were you going to finish something though there, Mason?
No, I'm good.
Gray rats are vermin, same as gray squirrels who read and write men's letters, same as the ravens and children of the forest or squirrels. Dothraki. Shit, she always has stuff, man. All right, we're gonna wrap it up, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. Let us not forget when you're, hey, where's the best, I don't know, a Song of Ice and Fire content?
Where's the best place for content on the world of Ice and Fire?
Right over there. See where I am pointing with my dagger? I just found
Sporking News Podcast with me, Sporking. Make sure you like and subscribe.
Awesome. And we will go out with our new intro, courtesy of Mr. Grant Gregory for Aluminum Spork. So if you haven't seen it yet, you'll get to see it for the first time. Thank you, everybody. Guys, thank you. Chat, thank you. Peace out.
Welcome to Aluminum Spork, where mysteries come to talk. From ancient cities underground to UFOs that float around. Giants of the past, prophetic signs that last, archaeological fights, and strange unexplained lights. Aluminum Spark, where truth and legends intertwine. From pyramids to guidestones blown, to secrets carved in ancient stone. We're diving deep into the unknown. Hancock's theories we explore, while Congress opens UFO doors. From Göbekli Tepe's rise to jellyfish in darkened skies, mound builders of old, stories left untold, hidden history's core. We're questioning it all. Aluminum Spark, your weekly dose of mystery. From ancient texts to modern day, we'll light up truth's hidden way. Join us as we investigate, where conspiracy